Welcome aboard Pop's Old Boats. I'm sitting on a 10-meter Catalina wing keel, one of many boats that I've acquired in the last few years. I'm going to be working on my own boats, trying to get them seaworthy again. These are all abandoned and abused. Some, including this one, were even total lost because of the damage that the owners had let them get into. So, I want to invite you to come along. Hey, be a passenger, not a stowaway. We'd love to have you take the journey with us here on Pop's Old Boats. Okay, YouTube. So we're going to walk forward and reopen the companionway. And the reason I closed it back up is so that I could show you that I'm going to start doing a refurbish on the companionway. And if you'll notice, it once had a very nice lacquer job on it. So we're going to try to get that back to its original state. Now, if any of you have gone back and seen the condition of this vessel when we first brought it in here, then you understand it's come a long way. And that's a scary thing. So we're going to go down these stairs. We're going to step over the cylinder head off of the Universal, and I'm going to get down here and show you where we've taken the galley apart. Well, I didn't take it apart. It was already apart, it's disassembled. You saw that in the first video because the galley was piled up over here with the faucet bent. So we're going to come inside the vessel and look around. This is going to be our next project, is to get this out. We're going to part this out. We're going to sell the parts off the Universal 3-cylinder engine because, like I said, I want to go back with an electric motor in it. I drove a truck for 2.5 million miles, tractor trailer truck. I've smelled all the diesel I ever cared to smell in my life. I don't ever want to smell it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to work back behind there, and that little drawer that's sitting out of that spot is up there just because I didn't put it back. There is a Cruise air conditioner that comes through there. We're going to service it, get it working. We're going to test out the gimbaled 2-burner stove and natural gas oven. Get it all back in working order. We're going to put sensors in here so that if there is any LP gas leaking, then we can have the sensors go off and warn us so that we don't blow our boat apart. Now, as for the rest of the boat, we have found out that the main problem with this vessel was leaking port lights. And what happened to her is around here, you'll notice that there is clear caulking around this. This is improperly, it's just 100% worthless. It let water leak in. You can see maybe, I don't know if I can get the angle, you can see some gaps and bubbles here under it to where water was allowed to come in. That little bit of water, just drips at a time, filled up the bottom of the bilge. It was overweight. It made the vessel settle onto her wing keel, and apparently she tilted because we have water damage over on this side, and where water dripped in, we have damage on the chart table. So I'm going to have to rebuild the chart table in the cabinet shop that we have access to. Then we'll be redoing a lot of wood finish in here and cleaning up. But we'll also be removing the fuel cells and get the fuel tanks out. Then we'll be making battery stations. We are going to rebuild the head. Once we rebuild the head, which I'm hoping that's only mud, but we've already cleaned a lot out in here. That port was open, allowing water to come in while it was on dry dock. So we had a lot of extra mess from that to clean up. The cushions, the foam is turning out to be in good condition, so we're going to clean and recondition most of the cushions. We have a few sewing repairs to do on some of them, maybe 4, and a few buttons to replace on the same said 4. We're going to have to clean up the curtain wear, all the cloth wear. It's just musty. It's got mildew on it. We'll have to get in here and do a pretty good cleaning on the vessel itself. But the first thing, foremost, that we need to do is I need to get all these port lights out and re-caulk them properly, because you need a dry, watertight vessel. Then that's the next heavy project we'll start on, is getting the engine out. So I'm doing some interior work, I'm doing some exterior work all at the same time. This is a big task, such as rebuilding and refurbishing the nav station, because it had water continuously dripping from the port lights, like I said, that were leaking. And then once we get well, let's back up a little bit. We've got the wiring station to redo here on the breaker system. So we'll have to do a repair, replace on all that. Then we'll get into our woodwork, because I don't want to start woodworking and then realize my woodworking's in the way of running wiring. So let's recap on that. We're going to come in, get the boat into the dry, get everything out, clean it up, do the rewiring we need to do, research what we need to do to get this 3-phase electric motor in. Do I need the transmission for that, or do I just want to run it to where it's reversible? This electric conversion, now this is all new to me. This is where I'm going to ask you guys to give me your expert advice. So once we get all that done, tanks out, battery boxes built where the fuel tanks were, then we'll start coming back, putting the boat back together. Hopefully by this time next year, we can take her to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina and launch her. So I'd like to ask you guys to like, subscribe, and follow. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, I'm going to make that link available at the end of the video.